Well, hello again, everybody. Zack Attack is here with my Atakline video on this Monday, October the 12th, 2015. Hope everyone had a nice weekend. I did lots and lots of gigs that happened over the last couple of days. I think I made an Atakline last on Wednesday when I had my fun one for Washington Elementary School, the color one. That was a lot of fun on Wednesday. That was reviewed on that Atakline. After that, I had 5 more gigs. Well, 4.5 for me. I'll explain that in a second. Friday morning, we did a gig. Fun one. Another one for Indian Hills Elementary School. That was my first ever fun one I ever done back in 2009. I hadn't done one there in 2 years because I've been busy. There was a conflict last year. My dad did it for me. He had a playlist for my dad wrote it. He had a playlist I set up for him, but I wasn't there physically last year. Anything else? So this year I was, and we moved location. Like the morning ones were kind of a little bump. It was like little things that happened. We thought they were big deals, but they weren't. We had to move around. We were set up in a location. We were used to one location. Then we had to move to another location. It started sprinkling in the morning. We were under a tent safely, but it was still a rough day in the morning. After that, little bump, I call it. We had fun in the afternoon, the lunches. I love DJing outside because of the recess. Got to play music for the kids during recess. It was crazy. Both recesses, the lunch recess and then recess after the last class. And it was fun had by everybody, despite the little speed bump we hit in the morning. It was just a little speed bump. Just a little. Didn't detract from the rest of the gig. Then Romeo High School tailgate on Friday for their game against Port Huron Northern. It was the WDIV Channel 4 NBC affiliate high school game of the week. It didn't feel like it because the attendance for the game was good, but tailgate-wise, right before the game, everybody just basically walked in, didn't hang out. It was like an uneven flow. Well, it was a flow, but it wasn't a lot. Like there wasn't a big peak. Usually, I wait for a big peak to play all the good songs. That peak never came. It was just 30 people at a time. Every 5 minutes, 30 people would come in. Another 5 minutes, 30 people would walk in, and then walk out to the stadium. So it's just kind of like, can't find a word to say. It was just okay. Tailgate. Kind of like the first one was like that too. The peak wasn't there. Consistency. So there you go. Then Saturday I had 2 gigs. Before I get to, I had a gig on Saturday and Sunday at Westview. Before I get to that, I had a gig Saturday night after Westview. Stayed at Westview Saturday late because it was the best weekend at Westview yet. The weather was gorgeous both days. And I stayed at Westview later because it was like 8,000 people on Saturday. So I was supposed to do a gig on Saturday night. And I got there a little late because I stayed at Westview later than expected. So I got to the other gig, which was a golf outing for a Little League baseball team. They were doing a golf outing. And we got there, dinner was already served. They were about to do the raffles. By the time I finally got ready, by the time I finally got there, finally set up after the raffles, everybody started leaving. Because Saturday night was the MSU game. So I only played for like an hour. So it's just, I call it a bust. But the lady who had us paid us a lot. She didn't have to do that. She was like, hey, I felt sorry for you guys for coming out all this way to bust out from your other gig to get back to this gig and have it shortened an hour, but shortened to only an hour because people left early, left after the raffle. Because I thought, hey, adults only? I thought it was like a little kid party. But it was an adult outing. I was like, it has some potential, but they all left after I started playing. So after that despite that little bust, the Westview gigs were amazing, as I mentioned. Saturday and Sunday, the best weekend yet for Westview. There's been like weekends where it's like Saturday sucked, Sunday rocked. 2 weeks ago was like the first weekend that both days were consistent. Last week, Saturday sucked and Sunday ruled because Saturday's weather was shitty, Sunday's weather was a little better. Both days consistent. 60 and sunny on Saturday, 70 and sunny on Sunday, 8,000 Saturday, over 10,000 on Sunday. It was like the best days. It was lights out the door everywhere at Westview. The sideboard where I DJ at, the line was at the door. Admissions tent where they go in to do you pick apples and the family fun that we offered there. That line was out the door all day long. It stretched almost to 30 miles. It was It was that crazy both days. Specifically yesterday, Sunday was like the best day. My family showed up. A lot of people I knew over the 2 days. Saw some teachers I knew. One of my improv buddies even came down all the way from Fundale, although he was just in town for the Lions game. 0-5, 0-16. Here they come. That's why my Bears shook because the Bears take them on next week. Go Bears. At least they are 2-3. Lions 0-5. But that's a tech sports talk. Like my friend JT was in town to see the Lions game. He's like, "Hey, I would come down to Westview," and we were shutting down when he came over, so we would come on another day when it's open. So it was a great weekend at Westview. Got a lot of gigs happening this weekend. Friday, another fun one for Hamilton Parsons Elementary. We've done that for the last 3 or 4 years, so looking forward to doing those again. One of my favorites because I like. They don't just run around for 15 minutes. They like say, "Okay, walk like a bunny, hop like a bunny." They make them do things, not just run around in circles like the other schools do. I do like the fun ones. Make it a little bit more fun, like Handball does. And hopefully we won't get him up again before. Anyway. Yeah, last Handball fun one. Like the morning of, we got robbed. But thankfully all of our stuff was returned. So, that's a good thing. So let's move on. So hopefully no incident will happen before the Handball again. Then homecoming tailgate on the 16th as well. And then 17th got Westview again. And a Halloween party at a backyard on Saturday night. I was hoping to do the Romeo homecoming dance, but they didn't ask me. Long story. Then Sunday back at Westview. So another fun weekend ahead. Now let's get down to entertainment news for the weekend. Starting with your movies. Number one. Despite some competition, The Martian remains number one, second week in a row, with 37 million. While Pan becomes the biggest bomb of the year. By bomb, I mean not fulfilling its expectations. Despite a $150 million budget, it only made $15 million in the 3-day total. Maybe origin stories aren't the way to go. Equals in origin stories don't appeal to people. Maybe that's why the Snow White origin movies failed. Like Mirror Mirror and the other Snow White film. So, it ain't go bad to be a cast member in that movie. So Martian still number one. Meanwhile, number one album in singles wise, Billboard, new number one album. After a few weeks on the top, or a week or two, it was number one. It wasn't The Weeknd, because Weeknd got kicked off by Fetty Wap. Yeah, Fetty Wap was number one last week. This week, as I kind of predicted on the Atakline Wednesday, Janet Jackson debuts at number one with a 7th number one album with Unbreakable. Her first number one album since 2000 and... Well, I was going to say 2001, but I think... Was Discipline number one? I forgot if Discipline was number one. Her last proper album was Discipline, because she released like a greatest hits album. Yeah, it did debut at number one. Because I think 20YO did not debut at number one. But the last album Discipline didn't. So does this album, Unbreakable, debuting at number one. And I like a new song, Missy Elliott, Put It Up School. Of course, she's on there. Unbreakable tour right now. Meanwhile, number one single-wise, still number one single, third week in a row, it's The Hills from The Weeknd. Probably benefiting from SNL with a great performance I heard over the weekend, with Amy Schumer taking on all targets, and Nicki Minaj appearing during the weekend's performance helped her remain number one for a third week. While Drake is number two with Hot Phone Bling, his biggest hit in years. So congrats to your number ones on the number one movie and Billboard wise. Meanwhile, let's get down to one of the most talked about celebrity gossip stories of the day. Rumored breakup rumors of Taylor Swift and Calvin Harris proved to be false. It all started with reports circulated that Calvin Harris and Taylor Swift broke up over the weekend when Calvin Harris got a little happy ending out of Masseuse recently. Apparently, there were sources saying that Taylor Swift didn't like the fact that Kevin Harris had a happy ending. Of course, if you don't know what a happy ending is, Google it. So, apparently, this happy ending got Taylor mad, but it was just a rumor. As both Kevin Harris and Selena Gomez, who's one of Taylor's BFFs, both denied it. Because Selena was on the radio because her album came out over the weekend. Revival, which may kick off Janet Jackson next week on the Billboard charts. She said that I would know that. Like Taylor would told me if they broke up, they didn't break up. Even Kevin Harris wanted to sue all the media who made this story up, saying that on Twitter, it's not going to be a happy ending for everyone I sue for defamation of character for all these bullshit stories. Bye-bye. Taylor did retweet it and favored it, so at least Taylor knows that the rumors of them breaking up is exactly that, false. So the story about Kevin Harris getting a happy ending from Masseuse causing a breakup with him and Taylor was, like I said, over-exasperated. So there you go with that. Glad they're at least still together for now. Now, on with some political news. I don't do much political things. Donald Trump's been using songs from people. And when songs get used by presidential candidates without permission, they tell them, fuck you, don't use our songs. That happened with Donald Trump more than once this year.
Donald Trump to quit.
Recently, a couple of weeks ago, Donald Trump was using Neil Young's song, Rockin' in the Free World. Neil Young sued him, well, he didn't sue him, but he sent a cease and desist letter to make Donald Trump stop using a song. He stopped using it as Neil Young supporting Sanders, the crazy hair dude. Bernie Sanders. Now Trump's got another issue they may have already avoided. He's been using for his rallies Dream On by Aerosmith. Now it's speculated that Aerosmith sent him a cease and desist letter on Saturday. And despite the cease and desist, Donald Trump still used it. Although Aerosmith's representative said at the time that Trump did not have our client's permission to use Dream On or any of Steven Tyler's music, Trump said the issue was resolved, saying that it's all worked out. So a lot of people have been ticked off that Donald Trump used their songs. Like, I think Donald Trump used an OEM song, and OEM was mad about that and cease and desisted. So did Neil Young, like I mentioned, when Donald used Keep On Rocking in the Free World. So at least Donald Trump, this song using, ended up being pretty good for him. At least he didn't end up in legal hassle like the other two. So there you go. Donald Trump is using Aerosmith's Dream On song despite a cease and desist letter from Aerosmith to stop using the song. He and Aerosmith's lawyers, specifically Steven Tyler's lawyers, resolved it. And Donald Trump's using the song with kind permission. Now I shall end with the man who's been out of the public eye for a couple years. He's kind of in retirement mode. Of course, referring to Phil Collins, the lead singer of Genesis, drummer of Genesis, and of course, a big successful solo star. People make fun of him, but you know what? Phil Collins is cool. I like his stuff. Tarzan, maybe not, but I like his, Susudio. My favorite one of his is Something Happened on the Way to Heaven and Living in Paradise. We may find out the origins of those songs. And Indiana Night 2 is another one of my favorites, especially that drum fill. Boom, 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 boom. We'll probably find out a lot more about the origins of those songs and more when Phil Collins releases his autobiography next fall in October of 2016. According to a statement he released to confirm the autobiography's release, he said that several times over the last few years I have been asked to write a biography, but never felt the time was right until now. Having finally found the right publisher in Penguin Random House, who's, I guess, publishing the book, I am ready to go on record about my life in music with all the highs and the lows to tell the story from my point of view once and all. So maybe he's going to go really into detail about his entire career. So we are expecting a lot of stuff about Genesis, about maybe he'll finally delve into how he really felt when Peter Gabriel left in 1974 after the success of their really big theatrical concept album, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, my favorite Peter Gabriel era Genesis song. Next to I Know What You Like in Your Wardrobe. It's another one of my favorites from the Peter Gabriel era of Genesis. So maybe we'll find out that. And of course, Phil's several divorces. And of course, his solo career about being maligned and depressed, about being goody two shoes. And hell, even Southpaw made fun of him. He did write a book about his collection of Alamo stuff, but he never wrote a tell-all bio. And I do mean tell-all. So can't wait to see how that book's going to be coming out. And even some people who are in the know about Phil Collins' book saying that the early material is simply breathtaking. Breathtaking. And one of the last great untold stories is something we've all been desperate to read. A lot of stuff is going to come out of this Phil Collins book. And maybe some people's feathers will be ruffled. Maybe some members of Genesis. Maybe including Peter Gabriel. So, here we see how that goes. Phil Collins' Autobiography, unnamed at this time, will be coming out sometime next year. Maybe the book's recalled, but seriously. Like his album. But I don't know what the name of the book is yet. It should not be called Cecilia. And that is it for the Attack Live for today. Thank you very much for watching. With that in mind, you've been attacked by the news from Zach. See you later.